Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome to 90 Day Fiancé latest news. Sometimes silence says more than a show. In the chaotic world of the family Chantel, where love, loyalty, and treachery are always documented, battled over, and put in the spotlight, one voice has always been there, quiet, watching, and unshaken. Winter Everett was the one who spoke. Phil. For years, she was just out of sight. Not invisible, but hard to read. Karen Everett's sister Chantel was going through a lot of explosive divorces, and Karen was making up crazy stories. Meanwhile, the family was trying to get famous on reality TV. Winter found a peaceful place. One of self-reflection. One of self-control. But not one that doesn't hurt. People remember Winter as the Everett sister who was more gentle. The one who held on to love longer than she should have. The person who stayed with Ja even when the red flags were clear in every frame. The one who changed sadness into something else, not on stage but in private. She didn't start a new relationship right quickly after leaving Ja. She walked into herself. She transformed her body, her mind, and who she was, and slowly faded from the public view. Until now, there was only one picture. No words. No tag. No fanfare. Just Winter Everett, barefoot in the sand next to a tall, handsome man, wearing a flowing white gown and holding her arms around an obvious baby bump. There were shadows on his face. His face was hard to read. Her glow is real. The picture went viral on Instagram. It was posted from an account that had been private just a few days before. Without warning. No title. No formal word. But they understood right away. Winter Everett was pregnant. Like a digital deluge, comments poured into the photos box. Is that her husband? She looks at peace. OMG, Winter is going to be a mom. Loudly crying face, loudly crying face. Who is that guy? King of Nigeria? Do everything you can to keep this woman safe. And maybe the most common feeling of all. Finally. Her time. But for those who were closest to her, or who thought they were, finding out was like a betrayal. Not only because Winter hadn't told anyone, but it was never meant to be shared. The pregnancy was kept a secret. The marriage even more so. Sources claim that Winter disappeared from Atlanta in late 2023. She said it was a break, a retreat for the soul. People didn't think much of it. Winter had been on a path of faith for years, after all. People knew she went to worship centers, gospel conferences, and holistic healing locations. But this time, she went outside of the nation. She took a plane to Lagos, Nigeria. At first, many thought it was just curiosity. A pilgrimage of faith. Maybe a trip funded by TLC. But nothing ever went on the air. There were no images from behind the scenes. Just hazy Instagram stories of African sunsets, church choirs, and busy markets. Winter stayed quiet, until a small change started to happen. A picture of a deep brown, masculine hand clutching hers over a dinner table. A video that has since been taken down shows a hymn being sung in Yoruba. A place with a tag outside of Abuja. And then nothing. It took amateur detectives and fans months to put the pieces together. Olakunle Kenny Adewumi is the name of a man. A Nigerian business owner and worship leader who is 37 years old. Firmly based in religious culture. Not much online. Not showy. Not a scandal. And they don't care about celebrity at all. As the story began to come apart, it startled everyone. Winter didn't meet Kenny through a dating app or a show, but in a place of worship. She had been to a Sunday morning church session in Abuja. The person who was supposed to translate for her was late. She sat in the back, quiet and uncomfortable. Then he came up during a prayer circle. Not with flirting, but with kindness. They spoke. First, let's talk about faith. Then about getting better. Then there are dreams. What happened next wasn't love at first sight. It moved slowly. On purpose. Spiritual. She stayed longer than she meant to. Weeks turned into days. They prayed as a group. Worked at events to reach out. He showed her his Nigeria, not the Lagos of nightclubs and influences, but the Nigeria of strength, religion, and deep culture. She thought he was a man who didn't want to be on a reality show. Who didn't care about the drama with Pedro, Ja, or TLC. Who saw her. They were engaged by January 2024. They got married in April. There weren't any cameras. No contracts with networks. There is no production crew. There was a barefoot wedding on red earth under a baobab tree, with local elders, gospel singers, and the few friends Winter had made in Nigeria. Her dress? Not too revealing. What kind of flowers did she have? Wildflowers that were collected from the hills. The only luxury was the happiness on her face. She didn't tell Chantel. She didn't tell Karen. She didn't tell the producers. Winter had learned the hard way that sharing spiritual things with those who desired content more than connection might be expensive. The Everett family in Atlanta didn't know. Karen thought Winter was still on a prayer tour. Chantel was busy fixing her own public image after her divorce. River was on tour. No one noticed that Winter wasn't in the group talks. Or maybe they did inquire but didn't get an answer. When summer came, it was clear that Winter was pregnant. Her bump was no longer hidden. She stopped using all social media. Removed all of her prior fitness posts. She made her TikTok account private. Friends promised to keep quiet. But Instagram had its own idea. It's not clear who leaked the picture. People claim it was a friend who meant good. Others think a relative of Kenny's who is proud of the marriage is to blame. Some people even say it was Winter herself, who grew tired of hiding. But no matter where it came from, the picture was real. And in that picture, the world saw a lady change. Winter Everett, who used to be a background character in Chantel's reality show, was now the main character, pregnant, poised, and beautiful. The man next to her? Kind. Guarding. For real. Not a soft opening. Not a publicity stunt. A truth that didn't need to be acted out. The response was quick and divided. Fans were happy. She did it her way. She looks like a goddess. Black love across the world. She's the Everett I want to win. But among the household, the quiet broke. People say that Chantel found out the same way everyone else did. On Instagram. Friends said she was blindsided and couldn't believe her sister hadn't told her. Sources claim Karen was furious. Not just at the secret, but also at the man. They took her, she is claimed to have said during a private phone chat. They took my daughter around the world and brainwashed her with a ring and religion. River, who was stuck in the midst, tried to mediate, but Winter didn't pick up the phone. She had shut off her US number, changed to a Nigerian SIM. And according to many who know her, she wouldn't let herself feel ashamed of the first choice she made that felt free. For Winter, the baby wasn't just a pregnancy. It was a new life. She did the decorating for the nursery herself. White sheets, sunflowers that are yellow, wooden cribs that were crafted by hand. There was a placard that said, "I prayed for this child." No cameras, no deals with brands, no boxes for influencers. Just peace. Kenny, on the other hand, stayed out of the controversy. No interviews. No ranting on social media. No comments. When a reporter from Lagos confronted him about the viral attention, he just smiled and replied, "My wife deserves happiness. Give it to her all." Sources indicate the pair hopes to stay in Nigeria for a long time. Winter has been working with a women's ministry to help girls in remote areas get health care and an education. She doesn't want to be a TV star anymore. She wants to be a good mother, a wife now, a complete individual. And maybe that's the most powerful thing of all. Winter chose safety because her family was all about show. She made a home in a franchise based on drama. And in a world that saw her grow up in the shadows, she is now coming into the light on her own terms. This fall, the baby is due. She hasn't said what gender she is. She hasn't sold the story yet. She doesn't owe anyone anything. Maybe this moment. A picture. A fact. A start. Motherhood is not a surprise for Winter Everett. It's a vow. Done. And for those who didn't believe her, who forgot that the silent ones have the deepest wells, there is now no denying. She was never in the background. She was the full narrative. And now she's writing her next chapter, but not with scripts and spotlights. Instead, she's using swaddles and lullabies. Not with a hashtag, but with a heartbeat. This gossip is over. If you like the video, then give your opinion in the comment box and stay with us by subscribing the channel. Thank you.